Hello, and welcome to MVAO 301 using Total Object Manager or TOM. This is part 2. MVAO 301 is the 7th in an 8-part series of courses covering AutoOPERATOR. In this session, we're going to talk about creating objects using TOM. And objects that can be created in TOM include started tasks, USS processes, and WLM resources. Once an object is defined in TOM within the active definition base, TOM will begin to control the state of the object. If you need to manually modify the state of an object, you can do so using the TOM user interface, which provides a wealth of commands for managing the object states. Typical objects include VTAM, TSO, CICS or IMS regions, or system tests such as JES2, DLF, or LLA. TOM provides an add-edit dialog to help you manage your object definitions. The dialog is the same whether you're doing a create or you're modifying an existing definition, and you can navigate through the panels by using next and back commands to move forward and backward through the list, or you can go directly to specific views using the shorthand notation listed here. GI will let you specify the general information for the object. LI will specify the started task information. SI is where you will specify any start-related information. PI for your stop commands, and then the DI panel is used to specify your dependency and client-server information. Here we see the MainView primary menu, and to navigate to TOM, we'll go to option A.8.4. And that'll result in the TOM primary menu being displayed. And since we want to work with objects, we're going to select objects in the upper left-hand corner and press enter. Then from here, we can select any of the options listed. We can select all, and that'll show us all of the objects. The other options will apply filters to the set of all objects, so you can limit the display to a particular type of objects you're interested in seeing. Since we want to add an object, we're going to type add on the command line and press enter. And TOM's going to pop up a window like this. So here we will specify the name of the object. In this case, we're calling it training.tso. And since it's a started task, we're going to select the STM option. Here we can specify the general information for the object we've defined to TOM. And in this instance, we're going to use a model to populate some of the fields so we don't have to fill them all out. To do so, we're going to put a question mark in the model from field. And TOM presents us a list of all the defined objects in the current definition base. In this instance, we're going to select the first item, model.ipl.recycle. And you can see TOM populates model.ipl.recycle in the model from field. And that again will carry forward all of the definitions that are contained in model.ipl.recycle that we haven't added to the training.tso object. Now let's take a look at modifying a calendar entry. And if we select the calendar entry from the general information panel, we'll be presented with a display like this. So we want to add a new period to the calendar so that the object will be down on the weekends. So I'm going to type in add on the command line. TOM will present us with a panel so we can define the new calendar dependency. If we want to know what days of the week are available to us to use as a mask, we can put a question mark in that field and press enter. And TOM presents us a list of all the days of the week that are currently defined. Since we want to have this thing not active on the weekend, we're going to go down to the bottom and select the WKN entry for the weekend. And you can see he populates WKN in the day field. Now we need to tell him what the time frame is during those day periods that we want the started test to be down. So you can see at the bottom we've specified a time period from midnight to 5 a.m. And now we're going to create an override so that this object will be active on one of the days during those shutdown periods. So I'm going to put an E in calendar overrides, and Tom's going to present us with a panel. And here we're going to do an add to create a calendar override. And we'll see a display like this. So in the type field, we'll select include, meaning we're going to tell Tom that this object can be active during this time. And then we'll put December 28th from 1 to 5 a.m. So once we're done building our calendar override, since we've used a model, we can save the definition by doing a PF3. So we're completely done with building this object definition, but I want to show you a couple of the additional panels. Here's an example of the start command information panel. You can see this is where we would specify our start command and related fields. And here's an example of the stop command specification. So we could put our stop commands, pre-stop, post-stop, retry commands. Do we want to stop in dependency order, so on and so forth. And then here's the dependency field that Tom uses to determine what order things should be started and stopped. If we want to, we can put an E in the dependency field. And Tom will pop up a display like this. And what we want to do is we want to add a new dependency. So we'll type add on the command line. And then we'll need to specify what object we want to have this dependency for. So if we put a question mark in the parent object or set name field, Tom will present us with a list of all the objects, and then we could select the object that we want the dependency on, and Tom will populate it into the dependency field for the training object. So if you look down a little bit in the middle, you can see we've specified a strength of strong, which says if the parent for this object comes down, then I want you to stop this object as well. And we're also checking the dependency property, which is status, as well as the value for that property, which is active. So we're saying that training.test can only be up when bmca.cagm is currently active. We can also create client-server relationships in Tom, and we can do so from the Dependency Client-Server Information panel by placing an E next to servers. Once we do an add on the subsequent panel, we'll be presented with a display like this, and here we can specify the client-server relationship and how the connection should be managed. Once we've finished modifying our object definition, we can press PF3 and Tom will display a confirmation panel like this. Select yes and then press enter and the object will be added to the definition base. As you can see here, the training.tso object is now in the definition base for Tom. This concludes MVAO 301 Use and Total Object Manager Part 2.